How's it going, everybody? I'm Melvin Blummer.
I'm Marvin Blummer, and we're known as the Minnesota Bash Brothers.
And welcome to the first edition of Tricks by the Trade by the Minnesota Bash Brothers.
Why is it called Tricks by the Trade?
Well, some of you guys may not know, and me and Mar are also union cement finishers. We do anything from building roadways to high-rise buildings.
Right. And why do they call us the Bash Brothers?
Well, if you go on YouTube, you probably check out a couple of our fight videos and figure out why they call us the Bash Brothers.
Right. So then, other than just doing concrete, we also are professional martial artists, and we have videos. You're going to check them out. They're on YouTube, Fight Pass, Flow Grappling, so on and so forth. If you want to see some of our matches, or maybe you just want to see him get punched in the face. I don't know.
Or likewise.
Anyways, Mel, so what are we going to do for Tricks of the Trade by the Bash Brothers today?
All right, today we're going to start with some open guard positioning, and the whole reason we're calling it the Tricks by the Trade is that even though me and him are virtually the same size, we virtually obviously look the same, except I'm way better looking. But even though we're the same size, even when doing the same type of moves, because of preference and how he moves compared to how I do, because like I said, even though they're the same body type, he does things a little bit differently than I do, just because of how he feels the move works for him.
Right, and again, martial arts, right? So it's an art. So part of every move has to have specifics for the move to work properly, right? But what Melvin's body does naturally might be a little bit different. Again, you know, we're all different shapes and sizes. So again, there's parts of every move that needs to be that way so it works. But again, you got to make it your own at the same time. So even though, again, we're pretty much identical, maybe, right? So, but when we do moves, we still do different setups. We do things just a little bit differently because of what he feels comfortable with compared to what I feel comfortable with.
And also depending on what position I'm trying to get to and what position he may be trying to get to.
Hence, tricks of the trade. I'm going to show you some of my tricks and things that work for me for an individual move. And then Melvin is going to show you his version of that same move, right? And that way we can see the differences, and hopefully you guys can see the key points, and then you guys can experiment and make it your own.
See what works for you. All right. So first we're going to start with some open guard pass.
We're going to work on a leg drag pass, okay? So if he has a good guard position, right, and a good open guard position, he should be pressing. I always kind of keep him pressing on me because he doesn't want to let off his pressure. It'll be easier for me to pass. So he's going to kind of try to stay glued to me. So I'm going to use this pressure to help me pass, okay? So a lot of people, when they go to do this pass, they like to explode their hips up and then pass the leg through, okay? I like to do this a little bit different. I like to use my hips to pass his foot to my opposite hand. So what I like to do is, I'm going to switch my hips, passing the leg through, and put my knee on the sternum, and bring my other foot up. Again, my foot should be almost like 45-degree angled from his shoulder, and if I have a good position, all my weight's over my leg, I should be able to touch my knee to his shoulder, okay? And that means I know I got all my weight over my opponent, okay? So one more time, okay? Pressure, pass. Inside leg first, knee to the sternum, foot steps out, knee down, perfect distance. All my weight on my opponent, okay?
On your fight record, it says you're 135er. I don't know if I believe that.
Well, you know, 35 might be my past.
205. 205.
But wait till we get closer to fight date, then the pounds start coming off. All right, so one more time. Pressure in, hip switch, pass. Okay? So we're going to do a little flow. I'm going to kind of flow. We're going to go to mount. And then I'm going to show you guys a submission from that position. Okay? Again, I'm going to show you the ways I like to do this. And then Mel will show you the ways he likes to do it. So again, open guard pass, hip switch, knee drag. And from here, I'm going to slap my hands on the mat and move to the mounted position. Now what I like to do from here is I try to base out, right? If his hands come up, what I like to do is bring my elbows or my knees into his armpits. Now from here, I start isolating one arm. I grab the wrist, I grab the collar, okay? From here, the opposite side of the arm goes out and in. I move to the S-mounted position. I start just slowly eking my way up, and I finish the arm bar right here. Okay? All right, so one more time. Okay? For the ankles, switch, pass, slap, mount, squish. His hands come, I bring my knees into his armpits. I draw the bow, grip the collar. Opposite leg goes out and in. I inch my way up, inch my way up, inch my way up. And here I just move my hips forward and finish the arm bar. Okay? last side, okay? So again, we're gonna do an open guard pass, leg drag. We're gonna move to knee ride. We're gonna slide into mount, and then we're gonna go for the S mount arm bar, okay? So one more time, hip switch, drag, pressure, slap, mount, switch, knees into the armpits, grip, grip, out, in, inch, 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 arm bar. All right, so that's the version I like to do. Now Melvin is going to show you the version he likes to do. All right. So again, we're twins, but again, we move differently a little bit. Like I said, our grappling styles is a little bit different from each other, so I like to pass mine just a little bit differently than how Mar does. Again, it still starts from that pressure position. Again, if the guy on the bottom has good hips and good open guard, he's going to be hooking his feet on my hips and pressuring, picking his hips up, putting that pressure to me, right? Now again, on Marvo, when he does this, right, he does a little hip switch. But when I do this hip switch, I actually take my hand, I go backhand to the foot, and I wash it around out of my way. I step next to the hip, I go down into the knee ride position. So again, feet on hips, right? Again, drive hip pressure to him, right? Because I need that reaction to get that pressure off his foot so I can slide his foot off my hip. So again, I'm gonna turn my hips with that little hip switch. I'm gonna take my opposite hand, I'm gonna take the backhand underneath his Achilles and then wash it to my outside of my leg. So again, I go backhand in, I wash it out, right? And from here, I'm gonna take that step, clearing, going to the knee ride position. So one more time, I'll do it a little bit more real pace. So again, hips in, right? I turn, right? Creating that movement on his feet to kind of get that pressure off that leg. Backhand, pass, step. Clearing. And once again, just like Mara was saying, that when I bring my knee down, I'm in a good knee ride position. My knee should just about touch his shoulder, right? Making sure I'm keeping my weight loaded over the top of him, okay? Now, I'm gonna do one more time. I'll show you how I'm gonna go to mount. So again, here, hips up, wash, step, okay? Knee ride position. Now from here, I'm gonna switch a little bit. I'm gonna slide over and let my foot come out. But doing the same thing. I'm gonna put my hands on the mat, knee slides, foot swings out. Now I'm gonna go to a swinging arm bar from the mounted position. So I do the same thing, I base out. He starts to push me up. As soon as he pushes me up, I'm gonna take one of my hands, put it to the center of the chest. Other hand's gonna stack over the top, trapping one of his arms. As soon as I get my hand stacked to the top, I'm gonna rock my weight forward over the top of my hands. I'm gonna start circling my head towards his knees. And as I do that, I'm gonna let my legs swing over his head. Going to the arm bar. So again, pressure in, switch, backhand, pass. Knee ride, hands down, slide across, foot comes out, face out, get him to push. As soon as he pushes up, one hand goes to the center of the chest, other hand stacks over the top. I rock my weight over my hands, and once I get my weight over my hands, I start circling. Right? My head towards his knees. Other leg swings out, around the head.
Never gonna get it.
Sit
Never
back.
gonna get it. Okay.
Finishing the arm bar. And one more time. So again, pressure in, back and wash. Slide over the mount. Pressure up. Finishing the arm bar from the mounted position. Nice. So as you can see, as much alike as me and him are, we still like to do things a little bit differently, okay? He likes to use a little bit more of an agility type arm bar situation, where I like to kind of use a very slow pressuring type arm bar situation. Again, and that's the beauty of it. As art, you got to find out what works best for you, and while you're still keeping the finer points of the move.
Like he was just saying, that everybody's a little bit different, like I said, and not saying that both moves don't work. Try to find out what works best for you and what fits into your game.
Right. So if you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave a comment, hit like. If you guys are ever in Minnesota, in the Chisago Lakes area, feel free to come in, drop in and do a class with us or one of the other great instructors here at Minnesota School of Martial Arts.
Yep, and I gotta show a big shout out to our Master Clever. Without him teaching us and how to do all these moves, we don't get to bring all this stuff to you guys.
Yeah, so thank you, Master Clever. And just remember, Master Clever teaches,
We train,
you tap. See
Right.
you guys next time.
all right, train hard, hit hard.